All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Bassanio Peters, and I'm the Chief Content Ambassador here at SolidProfessor. And this is a webinar where we're introducing an exciting addition to our library, which is MATLAB. We've actually added 3 courses, an intro, essentials, and an advanced course. And again, it's part of our mission to become an all-encompassing engineering resource for our members and help you guys design with confidence. And we have an esteemed author with us today by the name of Dr. Anna Haywood, who I'll introduce here in a moment. And when I say esteemed author, that's something I want to elaborate on in a moment. As a matter of fact, I'll take some time to talk about it now. We actually have launched an author program to help us expand the content available in the library, because everybody knows we got started with SolidWorks, right, in creating amazing SolidWorks content. And to become an all-encompassing engineering resource, we can't become subject matter experts in everything. So we've aligned ourselves with the subject matter experts in the field and help extract their knowledge and put it into a SolidProfessor format that proves to produce amazing learning experiences and, again, help our members design with confidence. So this is another addition to our library that we've added in the past few months, and we couldn't be more excited about it. So again, thanks for joining us today. So I want to introduce Dr. Anna Haywood. Anna, do you want to take a moment here and tell us a little bit about your experience with MATLAB and particularly just your background?
Sure, great. Yes, definitely. Thanks for having me here today, Bassanio. Yes, I'm the author of these courses in MATLAB, and my background includes 3 degrees in engineering, a bachelor's in electrical, a master's in bioengineering, and a PhD in mechanical engineering. And throughout my career, I have conducted research and taught at Arizona State University. I've taught engineering, programming, mathematics, and even English in several colleges and universities in Arizona. And throughout my academic and professional career, I have conducted much of my research actually using MATLAB, and have taught many introductory courses in MATLAB, both at the universities and the local colleges, online and in person. I became acquainted with MATLAB back in 2008 when I had to use it to collect and analyze data for an on-site weather balloon project that I was participating in. And it was pretty much a crash course intro to MATLAB, because I had to figure out how to use it right away for the project to be successful. And fortunately, it was successful, despite the fact that I was not even a programmer. So that tells you right away just how user-friendly and intuitive MATLAB is, even back then. So from my own varied experience, I can definitely say that MATLAB is an invaluable environment and programming tool that continues to be indispensable in bringing a concept to fruition quickly and efficaciously.
Awesome. Thank you again for that experience, giving us a little bit more background in your experience, Anna. And just a little bit about myself. I'm the Chief Content Ambassador here, and as I talked about, we have this author program that we've launched that really goes out and we try and find the top subject matter experts to create content for us, like Anna, and then we act as a resource to be able to make sure that these courses are in the SolidProfessor format, which our customers and members love and enjoy. So my job is to go out and look for subject matter experts, and then also talk to our customers and our members and understand, what else would you guys like to learn. So it's an awesome role for me here at SolidProfessor, and I enjoy working with our current members, prospective members, to understand what else you would like to learn. So before we dive into this next part, I actually want to launch a quick poll question, because I had some questions come in, which, by the way, we'll get to all the questions you are submitting in the chat box. At the end, we have a Q&A section. But one of the things that kept coming up that makes me want to launch this poll is, how many of you guys are actually currently using MATLAB or use MATLAB? So I'll take a moment and allow this poll to launch. And while we do that, Anna, can you quickly tell us what MATLAB is, and quickly tell me from your experience why someone would want to leverage MATLAB, and then how this course really helps our members and users implement some best practices with MATLAB?
Sure, you bet. MATLAB is a high-performance language for technical computing. That's really basically what it is. And it's really an integrated environment. So you don't have to go out and download any extra packages or anything. It comes all together in one. And it integrates computation, data visualization, and programming in this easy-to-use environment with excellent documentation and support, where problems and solutions are expressed in familiar MATLAB and mathematical notation. So like matrices, for example, and arrays, which a lot of people taking a regular college algebra course will be very familiar with. And from my experiences, I have found a lot of variety in who can leverage MATLAB and why. I have come across students, engineering students, of course, actual engineers, math professors, biologists in my classes even, using it for their research, economists, financial people, teachers, of course, I was a teacher in MATLAB, and even neuroscientists, and of course, programmers that can leverage MATLAB for its ease of use, its excellent documentation, its optimized data analysis capabilities, and its sophisticated data visualization, all packaged within one easy-to-use, easy-to-access environment.
Awesome.
And I can tell you a little bit about the courses if you want.
Yeah, that's actually the next thing we wanted to talk about here is, help us understand a little bit more about what's in these courses, because as we brought up earlier, we actually launched an Intro, Essentials, and our Advanced class was actually just launched yesterday. So tell us a little bit more about the courses, Anna, that you've put together for SolidProfessor.
Yeah, and the value of these courses is that it will help new MATLAB users become acquainted and then become comfortable with the MATLAB environment and coding tools quickly and effectively. So for the introductory course, learners will get to create, save, graph, and publish MATLAB M-file programs, and they're called M-files, all within one environment. So this course introduces the command window, the workspace editor, and variable editor to assist new learners in loading MATLAB file data files. That's what data files are called. They're called MAT files. And then you develop your coded programming files, which are M files, also through the editors. And new users will learn to work with arrays and matrices, and that's very important because arrays and matrices are fundamental to working with MATLAB. And programming best practices will be emphasized throughout, such as effective code planning, explored through flowcharts, pseudocode, and comments. And finally, new users will have the opportunity to learn about and execute functions and commands and to extract, manipulate, and test data, especially in that last hands-on programming exercise. And this is a powerful tool for analyzing data and developing solutions to real-world problems. So the introductory course is organized under 34 lessons grouped under 5 topic headings. So welcome to MATLAB, getting started, MATLAB M-file editors, creating your first program, and hands-on project exercise. And then from there, the essential course picks up where the introduction to MATLAB course leaves off. And that was designed for practicing engineers, scientists, and engineering and computer programming students to take their skills to the next level. The course includes in-depth conceptual sections covering topics such as vectors, arrays, matrices, graphing, input and output, conditionals, selection structures, so if-then statements, loops, best programming practices, as always, important, and debugging tools. Also, practicing engineers, programming, and engineering students and MATLAB teachers will find it useful to be introduced to MATLAB's newest coding environment. So this is a new feature that I've only seen in MATLAB. It's called the Live Editor, and it's associated new file format of MLX format. And this Essentials course, the next level course, is comprised of 58 lessons grouped under 8 topic headings: Welcome, Vectors, Graphing with MATLAB, 2D Arrays and Matrices, Best Programming Practices, Code Debugging, MATLAB's Live Editor, and Input and Output. And then finally, the Advanced course. MATLAB's advanced course was designed to focus on advanced concepts within MATLAB to help provide learners with a much more in-depth understanding of the language. This course will familiarize you with the function M files and how to create them so you can customize and make your own functions, how and where to call the 3 main types of functions, the significance of an anonymous function, and how they can be used to acquire the desired output. You will also be introduced in the advanced concept course to a few advanced and specialized arrays, such as cell arrays, structure arrays, which are very useful in database applications, and multidimensional arrays. And as a bonus, the tricks and techniques taught in this course, such as logical masking and using sparse arrays, can be used to reduce computer memory, computation, and speed up your calculation time. So finally, this MATLAB Advanced course is itself comprised of 16 in-depth lessons grouped under 4 topic headings. Welcome, creating your own function M files, anonymous functions, and other specialized array types.
Awesome. Thank you for that detailed description, and on all the different courses that we've added to the library. Again, we're really excited about this for our members. This is another tool you can add to your tool bag. And again, we want to become an all-encompassing engineering resource for people to turn to learn something new and put it into actual application. And that's what Anna's talking about here with what's in our MATLAB courses. So, some of the key benefits, and we talked at length about what's in the course, the details of the course Anna explained, but I wanted to take a moment and just really, Anna, help us understand, like, tell me from your experience, what's some of the, especially with your background and your experience, what is some of the key functions and maybe some of your favorite parts of MATLAB that you find yourself using very often, especially considering a majority of our audience are actual mechanical engineers and designers. What are some of the key benefits that our members are going to get out of this course that you can pull leverage with MATLAB?
Well, my favorite areas, I use functions quite a bit, and I actually like logical masking. It saves a lot of time for me. And some of the specialized arrays, like cell arrays and structure arrays, I use quite a bit as well for database applications. So those are probably my, you know what else is my one favorite area too is this live script. It really is a phenomenal teaching tool that you can use for students to learn and practice right in the classroom. So live script, I would check out the live editor as a new feature in MATLAB.
Awesome, and thank you for that, Anna, because that's actually a great segue into, we're actually going to dive into the library here for a moment and play a few videos. And as you can see, I'm logged into my SolidProfessor account, and I've saved a few courses that we're going to play actually on my dashboard by bookmarking them. But just to show you, the depth and breadth we're starting to get into our library here, all the different courses that we have, but obviously MATLAB's here, and here's your intro, essentials, and advanced course. But we'll just go back to the dashboard, and what I wanted to do was allow you guys to get a sample of some of the videos that are available. If you're currently a SolidProfessor member, then you have access to all of this material that's in the library based on your membership. But then you also have our people that are looking to sign up potentially for a free trial. You'll get access to the first 5 videos in the library. So I'm actually going to get started with an intro to the MATLAB environment video and play this for you guys. And we'll play a series of videos just to give you a sample of the course. And one of the videos we actually are going to play, and that's why I said good segue, is a video on the live editor, which Anna highlighted a moment ago. So tune in. Here we go.
When you first activate MATLAB, you will see the default layout view. This is the main area where you can test coding ideas, view and change which folder you are in, and preview your files. You can verify your version of MATLAB by looking at the top left corner of MATLAB's main window. If at any time you should need help or want to reference a particular topic, you can click directly on the question mark icon to bring up MATLAB's help documentation. Or you can click just beneath on the down arrow and word Help, which drops down a menu listing not only MATLAB's extensive documentation, but also useful examples, support, and other details about the program. For instance, if you need specific details about your version of MATLAB, choose About MATLAB. Finally, to activate MATLAB's context-sensitive help feature on the fly, you can press the F1 key while you code. MATLAB supports arrays with more than 2 dimensions. An array having more than 2 dimensions is called a multi-dimensional array in MATLAB. Multi-dimensional arrays are useful for displaying data that naturally have more than 2 dimensions, or for displaying multiple versions of 2D data sets. For example, measurements of pressure and velocity throughout a 3-dimensional volume are very important in such studies as aerodynamics and fluid dynamics. These sorts of areas naturally use multi-dimensional arrays. Multi-dimensional arrays are a natural extension of 2-dimensional arrays. Each additional dimension is represented by an additional index used to address the data. A 3-dimensional array, for example, is built and accessed using 3 indices, where the first index references array dimension 1, which is the row. The second index references dimension 2, which is the column, and the third index references dimension 3, called a page. This illustration uses the concept of a page to represent 3 dimensions. For example, to access the element in the second row, third column of page 2, I can name the array and use the indices 2, 3, 2, which would return the element of 6. 4 dimensions are possible too, and the 4th dimension is referred to as a drawer. It's easy to create a multi-dimensional array. They can be created either by assigning values directly in assignment statements or by using the same functions that are used to create 1- and 2-dimensional arrays. For example, suppose that I have a 2-dimensional array created by the following assignment statement. As shown in the workspace, this is a 2-row by 4-column 2-dimensional array, with each element addressed by 2 indices. The array can be extended to a 3-dimensional 2-row by 4-column by 3-page array by adding each page separately using index assignments. That is, for the first page, I can type the name of the array, A, open parenthesis, colon, comma, 2, close parenthesis. Then assignment operator, open bracket, 9, 12, semicolon, 13, 16, close bracket. This is read as all the rows and all the columns of a new page, page 2, will be assigned the following values. The contents of the first 2 pages of array A are echoed to the screen, and array A now shows up in the workspace as a 3D array with 2 rows, 4 columns, and 2 pages. Since each page needs to be defined separately, I'll use this same format to create the final page 3. However, I'll use a calculation to show how 3D arrays can be computed upon just like 2D arrays. So I'll type the name of the array A, followed by open parenthesis, then a colon to represent all the rows, comma, then a colon to represent all the columns, comma, and 3 for the third page. Next, I'll close the parenthesis and type the assignment operator, 10 multiplied by the sign of the previous page, which is coded as open parenthesis, A, open parenthesis, colon, comma, 2, and 2 closed parentheses. And A has changed in the workspace to a 3D array with 2 rows, 4 columns, and 3 pages. To further extend the rows, columns, or pages of an array, I can use similar assignment statements. So if I extend the 3D array A into a 4-dimensional 2-row by 4-column by 3-page by 2-drawer 4-dimensional array by filling in the first page of the second drawer like so, A, open parenthesis, colon, comma, 1 to specify the first page of, comma 2, the second drawer, close parenthesis. Then followed by the sign operator to the values that must match the original dimensions of 2 rows by 4 columns. The first 3 pages are then placed into drawer 1. Then for drawer 2, since only the first page was defined, MATLAB pads the remaining unspecified pages with zeros as shown. Finally, as previously touched upon, to access the elements of any multi-dimensional array, I can enter the array name followed by the same number of index sets as there are dimensions in the array, with 4 dimensions in this case, and if I want to access a subset of elements such as the first 2 rows, the last 2 columns, and only the last page of drawer 1, I would enter this.
Before I play the next video, I just wanted to say that, Anna did a phenomenal job in breaking up these courses. If you're very familiar with SolidProfessor, you know our instructional design intent is to have the videos anywhere from 3 to 6 minutes because we have different types of learners. On-demand learners, where you're up against the gun and you need an answer right away. Watch one of our videos on the, let's say it was particularly an array, you get the answer you need and you can move back to work. And Anna did a masterful job of putting together the courses that fit our instructional design methodology and intent. And as you can see, the intro course is really, the first video is from the intro course, and it's really giving you that basic understanding, and it'll help you become acquainted and comfortable with the MATLAB environment and using the coding tools effectively. And then the second video was played for our Essentials course, and you can see we get into a little more depth, a little more detail. So our course has the introductory level to get you acquainted and comfortable, and then we have the depth and the breadth in the product and help you become comfortable. And again, our mission is to help you design with confidence. So the last video I am going to play is going to be the live editor, and that is the new tool that Anna alluded to that is fairly new, that has come out with MATLAB, that is very useful and very helpful. So I will play this last video and then we'll conclude.
Beginning in version R 2016A, MATLAB supports live scripts in a single environment called the Live Editor, which provides another way to create, edit, and run MATLAB code. A MATLAB live script is an interactive document, combines MATLAB with output and embedded markup. The gray boxes hold comments and code, with the corresponding output displaying immediately on the right. Images, equations, and formatted text are embedded and show instantly within the program itself. You do have the option to instead display your output inline for uses like teaching or presentations. Let's restore it as I originally had, with the outputs on the right. Any hyperlinks are immediately available and can be activated by control clicking. To see how the output lines up with the code, click on the code inside the Live Editor, and a blue box highlights the corresponding output. If, instead, you click the output value, the cursor shows you which line of code produced that output. You can convert code to text and vice versa by right-clicking on a line of interest to bring up the context-sensitive menu. Then, choose Convert between code and text, and note the change. You can see the difference the change makes even without saving by first clicking in the section with the altered code and then clicking on the Run Section down arrow and selecting Run Section. Observe the difference. I'll convert the text back into code. And this time, right-click to run the section. After you run a section, to see all the contents of a particular variable, you can double-click on it, and a scrollable window with the variable contents appears. Returning to the code, live scripts are saved using a file format with MLX as the extension. This file type stores the code together with the output, equations, images, and formatted text.
All right, so we'll dive back into our presentation here, which we are now wrapping up. But we just wanted to give our members and everyone listening in a opportunity to see some of the lessons. And again, our instructional design methodology has our end customer, our users, our members in mind. And we covered the depth and breadth of the product for MATLAB. So we're excited to have this, and again, it's really about helping our members design with confidence. So this is your opportunity now to go learn something new. We have the promo code there. If you're not already a SolidProfessor member, go ahead and enter in the promo code when you are signing up for a membership on our platform, and we'll have a special promotion for you. And again, this is really a part of our vision, a part of our goal is to continuously add new content to the library based off our customers' needs, so we can help you guys design with confidence and we can become an all-encompassing engineering resource. So as a part of that, before we wrap up, I will leave some time for Q&A. I just want to ask one more poll that I've been asking in these webinars, and it really helps me to get a better understanding. Me and my role as the content ambassador here is, tell me what else you would like to learn. Here's a few items that we've added to the list that are kind of next on our priorities, but kind of tell us, help us understand what else you'd like to learn. And any time, you guys have obviously received the webinar invitations and emails from me. Feel free to reach out and let me know what else you'd like to learn, more about you and your team's environment, or if you're an individual or you're working at an academic institution, let us know how else we can help our members, because again, our vision and mission is to help users design with confidence by adding more content to the library and becoming that all-encompassing resource. And I'll leave this poll open for a few minutes. And Anna, do you have any closing thoughts or things you'd like to add? We'd like to keep these webinars between 25 to 35 minutes. We're at 26 minutes now, so I want to leave some time for some Q&A because I think we have some pretty good questions. But Anna, is there anything that you'd like to add? Again, majority of our members are mechanical engineers and designers. Just a quick tip as you're consuming the course, or again, something that you feel that our members would really benefit from the course, anything else you can add?
Well, there was one thing I wanted to mention that besides allowing matrix manipulations and plotting of your functions and data, the implementation of your algorithms from concept to fruition, MATLAB can also create user interfaces, and it can interface with other programs written in other languages. So you're not limited. You can actually interface with, because MATLAB is originally written in C, it can actually integrate and interface with C programs, C++, object-oriented programming, and it does have object-oriented programming within it as well for you hardcore programmers out there. You can also interface with C#, so any flavor of C can be interfaced with MATLAB, along with Java, Fortran, and even Python.
Awesome. Great. Well, I'll close out this poll here in a moment. It looks like SolidWorks simulation in our GD&T course, which we're actively working on at the present moment, are in the highest demand. CATIA, Creo, and NX also, but it's interesting because we're actually set to kickstart our SolidWorks simulation course here pretty soon, getting into more of the advanced concepts, as well as putting together a GD&T related course. So I'll close this poll out. Thank you again, everybody, for participating in the polls, and we'll open up to the Q&A section. There were some good questions in here I wanted to get to, one of which, Anna, I'll direct towards you, is, can MATLAB open Mathcad files? I know Mathcad is the organization and MATLAB is the product, but can you answer that question more specifically?
I haven't had to do that, so I guess I'm not really sure from my experience. I mean, you can easily find out. Just go ahead and drag it right in to MATLAB and see if it opens as an experiment if you want. I would think it could not, because the extensions are different. I know that it can open Fortran files, at least it can convert them, because I had to actually do that back in the day when I took a pretty high-level math course. I actually had to, I didn't know Fortran, but I knew MATLAB, so I actually translated it right into MATLAB.
Great. Another course that looks like this is more directly towards me is there a possibility for classes in Simulink software, which is again another MathWorks product, and we're actively looking at the MathWorks portfolio and library. And really, if you have specific questions like that, reach out to me directly and let's have a conversation, because what I'm trying to do is understand the demand for these courses, because we're basically polling our members and saying, hey, what else would you like to learn? And then I take that feedback, do some market research, and then we identify our customers have asked, our members have asked for these courses. These are the top priority for us to go after. So I'd love to have a conversation and learn a bit more about the specific needs, but I know that Simulink is definitely a part of our product roadmap. So great question.
Yeah,
Anna, is there any?
Simulink,
go ahead. Go ahead, Anna.
Sorry, I was just remembering. I think Simulink is actually the only. I think there's nothing else like it other than what's included in MATLAB. Now, that is a separate toolbox because it's used for modeling dynamical systems, so that is something separate that would have to be bought in addition to the main package.
Awesome. Okay, Anna, this is one directly for you. Is there any difference between MATLAB Home and Pro Edition? They'd like to learn MATLAB but don't really want to buy a Pro license.
My experience, I've used the educational and the student version and the professional version, and I have not found a difference. They seamlessly talk to each other, and I have not found any differences in the two. So I think you're fine with just the regular version.
Awesome.
Either one will work.
Good news.
Yeah.
Good news.
Yeah.
And then a great question, which is, when is the next webinar? We tend to do them every other Thursday. So about twice a month. Be on the lookout for our notifications, invitations coming from myself or some other members at our organization. And then also let me show you something we recently added in the SolidProfessor experience. Let's close out of this. Full screen. In the SolidProfessor experience, if you go to the dashboard, when you log in, you'll see the news feed here. Pay close attention to this because we're actually announcing a lot of stuff in our newsletters, and we announced that we released the MATLAB Advanced Concepts, and then you can see that we actually have some webinar invitations as well. And we also embedded another tool into our system to make communication more fluid with our members, and you can see I got an invitation for the webinar just because it came from our marketing department directly in the system in our chat window. So we're constantly trying to keep you aware of what's going on here at the organization, what new courses we're releasing for our members. So, be on the lookout for the next webinar, which I believe will be in a couple of weeks. We're going to do a Fusion CAM webinar. So we're going to talk about the power and capabilities of Fusion CAM with one of the folks from Autodesk. And let's see, I think we have time for maybe one more question, 1 to 2 more questions. Anytime to we actually do, so anytime to rewatch webinars or seminars, we actually are uploading these to YouTube. So we'll send a link, and then anyone who is registered or attended this webinar will get the video link after the presentation is over, so you'll have that. One more question. This looks like it's directly for you, Anna. How can I use MATLAB for data acquisition using Arduino? Is that possible?
The Arduino board? Yes, I've been actually tinkering with that. And there's actually a plethora of resources online about how to link with Arduino boards, so that's pretty much everywhere.
Awesome, Anna. Sounds like a new course you can develop for us.
Yeah, that one would be really fun because that involves hardware, and I love hardware.
Awesome. Well, again, everyone, thank you so much. If you're a member, thank you so much for being a member. Thank you for taking time out of your day to listen in. Anna, thank you again for all your hard work on this course and joining us today. And again, if you're interested in sharing more feedback, please feel free to reach out to me. You have all my contact information via the email. We can schedule some time to talk so I can learn a little bit more about you and what else you'd like to learn. But then also, as a part of our author program, and Anna's now a part of this, our author program. If you're a subject matter expert in something that we potentially don't cover in the library or even some SolidWorks, we're opening the doors to create some project-based lessons in SolidWorks. If you're interested in being an author, please reach out to me as well, and we can have a conversation and see if this is something that's a fit. So again, everybody, thank you so much for your time. Greatly appreciated, and be on the lookout for the next webinar. Thanks again.